Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are continuing the reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's 8th canto. Why this is not, put it there. 8th canto, that's what? Chapter 10, text 39 to 30 to 40. So text 40 is on the board. I will just chant text 39 first, and then we all do together text 40. Siro Byudita Kirita Kundalai Saraba Digbi Paridasta Dachadai Mahabujai Sabaranai Sahayudai Saprat Sistri Tabu Karaburo Hibi Babo. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. In the course of the battle, the war field became strewn with the severed heads of heroes, their eyes still staring and their teeth still pressed against their lips in anger. Helmets and earrings were scattered from these severed heads. Similarly, many arms decorated with ornaments and clutching various weapons were strewn here and there, as were many legs and thighs, which resemble the trunks of the elephants. Text 40. Kabandata Chotpetu Patita Swasirokshibi Udyata Yuda Dodandai Adabanto Buttam Mulde. Kabanda, trunks, bodies without heads. Tatra, there on the battlefield. Cha, also, Utpetu, generated. Patita, falling. Swashiraha Akshibihi, by the eyes in one's head. Udyata, raised. Ayuda, equipped with weapons. Dadandhai, the arms of whom Adavantaha, rushing toward. Batan, the soldiers, Mirde, on the battlefield. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami, Srila Prabhupada Araki. Many headless trunks were generated on that battlefield. With weapons in their hands, those ghostly trunks, which could see with the eyes in the fallen heads, attacked the enemy soldiers. Purport. It appears that the heroes who died on the battlefield immediately became ghosts, and although their heads had been severed from their bodies, new trunks were generated, and these new trunks, seen with the eyes in the severed heads, began to attack the enemy. In other words, many ghosts were generated to join the fight And thus, new thrones appeared on the battlefield. Gurave Gurachandaya, Adikaya Tadalaya, Krishna Yakisha Bhaktaya, Tabhakta Namo Namaha, Aganatri Madasha, Ganagana Salakaya, Taxus Mita Unitas, Mashi Gurabe Namaha, Vanchakapatu Vescha, Kripa Silbi Vacha Pati Tana Pavana Bhivashna Namo Namaha. Kabandai Stratta Chotpitu, Patitas Swasira Kshibhi, Udwata Yuda Danda Dai, Ababantu Batamide. Many headless trunks were generated on that battlefield. With weapons in their arms, those ghostly trunks, which could see with the eyes in the falling earth, attacked the enemy soldiers. So there's always a great battle between the demigods and the demons. So the demigods and demons, they've always been there since the beginning of creation. So part of Lord Brahma's creation includes the demigods and also the demons. They're always there, right from the beginning of the creation. Even the demigods and demons, they have common parents, common father, Kashyapa Muni. Because Kashyapa Muni has two wives, Diti and Aditi. Diti, she was the mother of the demons. So therefore the demons are known as Daityas. Daitya means the son of Diti. And Kashyapa's second wife was Aditi. So she was the wife of the demigods, like Indra, Suryadev, Chandra, all the demigods. So she was their mother. Now, there's always, now both wives being the wife of being having a common husband, so obviously, there's always rivalry between the both. Sometimes Aditi will want to be favored by Kashyapa Muni, and sometimes Diti, she wants to be favored by Kashyapa Muni. So this is some of the thing of many polygamy. If you have more than one wife, of course nowadays it's kind of it's illegal in many countries, but many countries it's legal to have many wives. In Africa, even in Asia, even some communities in America, they also allow polygamy. But you as a man, you have many wives, which means you get pulled here and there, because everybody wants to have their desires fulfilled. This is the situation. So Diti and Aditi, they were both common wives of Kashyapa Muni, and both of them, they always dragging him. Kashyapa Muni is a great sage. He was always meditating. But sometimes the wife will say, okay, I want a son. Can you conjugate with me? So sometimes Kashyapa Muni, what can they do? He says, okay, I will give you a son, but you have to do this, like that. So in this way, this eternal competition is always there between the demons and the demigods. And of course, for the effective administration of the universe, just as the demigods are needed because they help the Lord in administering the universe, they are like the managers of various departments. Similarly, also the demons are also needed. So when we said that how can demons be needed to administer the universe? The fact is that they are also needed. Because the demigods, technically, just like in the beginning of this chapter, Srila Prabhupada was mentioning of how the demigods, how they are devotees of the Lord. And the demons are just demons. But at the same time, we have to understand that there are different categories of devotees. There are those who are just addicted to sense gratification. In this case, the demigods, they are admitted to sense gratification, kamakandi, and all that. So in order to check the the nature of the demigods, which is always been addicted to sense gratification. So the lords also have the demons, because both the demons and the demigods, they always fighting with each other. They always engage in fighting. Sometimes the demigods will be victorious, and sometimes the demons will be victorious. So that goes on all the time. As we read Puranas, we read Bhagavatam, we know that sometimes the demigods, they get kicked out of their abode, out of the heavenly planet. Just as when Hiranyakashipu, so he kicked out Indra out of his palace. So he took over, Same way, Bali also, he also did the same thing. So he also defeated the demigods, and then he took over the heavenly abode. So in this way, and of course, whenever the demigods, they get defeated that way, they always go to pray to Lord Vishnu. Our dear Lord, please protect us. The demigods, they've become predominant now, so give us protection. And then, of course, so the Lord himself will come and will tell the demigods, what to do in terms of how they can again be victorious over the demons. But the demigods, they are not always victorious. So that is an established fact. So they get defeated sometimes, and then again they defeated the demigods. So we have to know that demigods and demons, they all used to live in different planets. They never used to live in the same planet. They have their particular planets, not the same. So which means whenever the demigods or the demons want to declare war against the demigods, so they have to leave their planet and come and fight with the demigods. So like that. So they don't live on the same planet. And then as time goes by, as the progression of the ages, so both the demigods and demons, they were living on the same planet, but not in the same country. So let's say the demigods live in India and the demons live in some other country, but they don't live in the same country. So there's always some kind of a demarcation is there. But again, as time progresses, the demigods and demons, they were living in the same country, but not in the same city. They all live in the same country, but their city where they live is different. And then after some time, the demigods, they were living in the same city. So which means the fighting between demigods and demons become more easier, because now they are not living in the same city now. You see? And then after some time, they were living in the same household, in the same house. So whereby a person may have children, some of them may have demoniac tendency, while some may have godly tendency. So they were living in the same house. You can just imagine. Just like the Kurus, for instance, the Kurus, they were family, but some of them have demoniac tendency, just like the Duryodhana and his brother. And then you have the Pandavas, who are like Krishna devotee. They were the same family. And then, especially at the beginning of Kali Yuga, both demoniac tendency and divine tendency, they are living in the same body. So both came to take shelter in the same body. So which means within our body, sometimes we may have some divine influence, some divine tendency. At the same time also, we are full of demoniac tendency. So that is always there. And this can be seen, in the lives of the devotees. How sometimes, now we can see some of the characteristics. So Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna in the Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 16, he was explaining to Arjuna about different demoniac nature and also the divine nature. So Lord Krishna is explaining that. So in the chapter 6, the Lord said, in the text 4, he said, Dambal dapa bimnanascha, krodam parushana yevacha, agyana chabijatasya, pata sapandam asurim. So these are the demoniac tendencies, the demoniac nature, pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demoniac nature. So Krishna is explaining pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, being harsh, and ignorance. These are the demoniac nature. Now, as devotees, we sometimes have to ask ourselves how much we have become free from these tendencies, especially the pride, being full of pride. Because sometimes we have the inclination to think that now we have become great, just as Srila Vishnu Chakravarti he was describing in the Madhya Kadambini, that sometimes as one becomes devotees and one start practicing Krishna bhajan, sometimes one becomes overwhelmed by what comes out of it, the position. Especially devotees are known to be famous. Devotees attract worship. Everyone wants to worship the devotees. The fame of devotees is there. So sometimes the tendency is to start thinking that, oh, I'm such a great person, so therefore I'm getting this kind of worship. And the tendency also is to look down on others. To look down that, hey, you, don't you know who am I? You are such a neophyte devotee. You know. So all these things are there. This is damba, this pride. But as long as this is a pride, which actually a demoniac tendency. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he had written in this in the Jatasi Shamrita, he said, Lord Krishna gives the 6 demerits that are part of the demoniac nature and are formidable obstacles obstructing all progress in spiritual advancement. The word dhamma, or ostentatious, denotes hypocrisy, mendacity, and lack of religiosity. Dapa is pride, erroneously excluding from intoxication of position, wealth, and power. The word krodha means anger, resulting from frustration, causing animosity, and impetus to injure and harm others by cruelty or harshness without any mercy. This is a defect especially found in sovereigns and rulers due to abhiman or extreme egotism, in the illusion that they are the most powerful and worshipable instead of the Supreme Lord. Thus, their mentality being deluded is ajnanam or ignorance, void of actual knowledge, and destitute in discrimination of what is eternal and what is temporary. So therefore, these qualities of pride, egotism, lust, anger, all these things, which sometimes are visible within the body of the devotees, this actually demoniac tendency, which need to be overcome. Because unless you overcome, there will be no question of Hari Bhajan, there will be no question of being successful in the spiritual life. And that's why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, just like Mahaprabhu, the famous verse of ISKCON, that Trina Api Sunichena, Taro Eva Saishnuna, Amanina Manadena Kitani Yasadari, that one should be humble than the blade of grass, one should be tolerant than the tree, there should be no pride at all, which one should have no pride whatsoever. And in the humble state of mind, one can chant Krishna's name constantly, one can chant. So which means if you want to ask ourselves that how come I've been chanting for a long period of time, I am still the same person. For instance, we are chanting for many, many of us, 30, 40 or more years. It's like there's no visible difference in our characters. There's no visible difference in our lives. So why this? How come we don't get the result of chanting? Because when one is chanting, there should be a result, which means there should be, the same thing should be there. The same thing should be there. But here we find that we've been chanting for all this period of time. There's no visibility of a factual advancement. So the reason for this can only be attributed to this only. Mahaprabhu, he said that if you want to chant Krishna's name, then you must be humble than a blade of grass. You must be very tolerant. You should be completely devoid of pride. So this pride, this is the characteristic of demoniac tendency, which need to be overcome. And that's why the devotees, they always been advised to be in a pure association. Because by being an association of sadhu, then one can eliminate this tendency of being pride. Because one comes to realize one's position as a jiva, as a tiny jiva, who is simply servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. So so this goes on. So which means our demoniac tendencies have to be curbed. It has to be eliminated, our demoniac tendency, if we really want to see the true result of bhakti. Now, of course, this chapter, which has been describing the demons and the demigods and their fighting, from the previous chapter, this chapter, and also the next chapter, which this fighting, it keep going on. And then there's a time when Lord Brahma actually, because the demons, they were being victorious, not the demons, the demigods, they were being victorious, because Indra, he was able to kill so many powerful demons. And the demigods, they were simply slaughtering all the demons like anything. So Lord Brahma, he appeared to them, he said, no, you should stop this. You should stop this killing business. So Lord Brahma told them, he said, no, you have to stop this killing. So Lord Brahma did not want to see all the demons being exterminated. He didn't want to see that. Because why? Because the demons are also required for the effective administration of the universe. Now, and of course, we know that demons means bad, demigods means good. But not all the demons are bad. Actually, there are good demons also. And also, not all the demigods are good. Of course, this can be a little bit contradictory, because after all, demigods are supposed to be devotees of the Lord, and they're basically acting on behalf of the Lord. So how can we say that some demigods can be bad, and some demons can be good? But the fact is that there are some good demons and there are some bad demigods. When we read the Puranas, we come to know. Because why? Now, the demons, why are they bad? Because the demons, we know that they are attached to sense gratification. They are attached to sense gratification without God. They simply want to enjoy themselves. They want to enjoy. So they are attached to sense gratification without God. But the demigods, they are also attached to sense gratification. They also attach to sense gratification with the blessings of God. You can see. Both of them want sense gratification. After all, how do someone become a demigod? Normally, when one performs pious activities for a long period of time, then he becomes a demigod in his next life. But this is one has to perform pious activities for a long period of time. Especially, it mentioned that if one performs 100 Aswamedha Jaga, so in his next life, he can become Indra in his next life. So which means to be a demigod is not a big deal to be a demigod. And basically, one elevated to the heavenly planet due to the desire for bigger sense gratification. That's why one get elevated to the heavenly to the higher planet. But we know that those who have been elevated to the higher planet, so they are very attached to sense gratification. So much so that they even forget themselves. Just like in the case of Indra, there are many instances where Indra, even sometimes he will think himself, to be above everyone else. Even above his guru, like his spiritual master, Brihaspati. Sometimes he will be so puffed up, If you think that now I'm the mighty Indra and everyone should just submit unto me, everyone should just surrender unto me because I'm the mighty Indra. After all, Indra, he lives for his lifetime is 71 Divya Yugas. So he lived for 4.3 million years times 71. That is the duration of life of Indra. Of course, Indra is in charge of all the demigods. So sometimes he thinks himself to be supreme because he has such an enormous power that he has. But sometimes he forgot that power was given to him by the Supreme Lord, and he's simply acting on behalf of the Supreme Lord. But sometimes, from time to time, he forgets this. Like one time, he told his sages to carry him. He asked his sages to carry him, which he also included his guru prayer person. He said all the sages must carry him on the palanquin. So they carry him, and then the sages, normally the sages are very humble. So they were carrying Indra, and then Indra became puffed up. He said, "Oh, you sages, you are going very, very slowly." And then he kicked them. He kicked them with his foot. He said, "Oh, you are going very, very slowly." So the sages, knowing the puffed upness of Indra, so they simply cursed him. Say, "Okay, you don't deserve to be here, Indra, so therefore you become a pig." So immediately Indra came down, he fell down from his position and became a pig on the earth planet. So that goes on. And of course, during Krishna Lila, when the Lord wanted to teach Indra a lesson because he used to get sacrifice from the Brijavasi every year. They used to do in the Jaga. So Krishna told his father, said that, "Look, you don't have to do this in the Jaga. Why you want to do this sacrifice? Is it because of giving rain? If it's giving rain, it's giving rain also on the desert, on the ocean. So what's it? He has to give rain anyway. So why doing his sacrifice?" So in this way, Indra Jaga was stopped. And then the Brijavasi, they worship Govardhan Hill. They worship the cows. But Indra became very angry. He said, "Oh, how dare this Brijavasi dare not worship me and listening to this talkative boy, talking about Krishna. So therefore, let me punish the Brijavasi." And of course, he tried, but he was completely frustrated. He could not even move a single tiny grass from Govardhan Hill. He could not even do that. So he has to be taught a lesson. So from time to time, the demigod situation is like that. Where sometimes they even want to fight with Krishna, with the Supreme Lord. Now, the demons, even though technically the demons are supposed to be bad, but sometimes they are good. We actually have good demons. A good example is Bali Maharaj. Bali was the king of the demons, but when his guru told him that he cannot offer what he has promised Vamandev, Vishnu, what he has promised, so Bali said, "No, of course not. I have promised something. So even this Brahmana, even though it may be Vishnu, because I've made my promise to him, I must give whatever he asked for." So therefore, Bali Maharaj, he disobeyed his guru, Sukracharya. And then and of course, Bali Maharaj became one of the Mahajans. There are 12 Mahajans, and Bali Maharaj is, one of them. So we have many, many instances of many, many demons like that, who are apparently antagonistic, but on the long run, they became good on the long run. When Ravan was killed by Lord Ramachandra, after he was killed by Lord Ramachandra, so Lord Ram told Lakshman to go and hear instructions, spiritual message from Ravan. You can just imagine. So Ravan has done so many, many terrible things, kidnapped Mother Sita's. But after he was being shot by arrow, before he left his breath, left his body, Lord Ram told Lakshman to go and hear from Ravan, to go and hear from his spiritual instruction. So therefore, Ravan, before he died, so he gave spiritual message to Lakshman. So in this way, so we find so many, many contradictory stories like this in the Vedic scriptures. Previously, in the previous canto, we read about Vitrasura. Vitrasura was a big demon who was produced to kill Indra. But somehow, due to the mispronunciation of the mantras, Vitrasura came about as someone who was to be killed by Indra, like that. But Vitrasura, even though it was such a big, mighty demon, but it was actually a great devotee, because he was the incarnation of Chitraketu, who was one of the great devotees of the Lord. But due to some mistake, so he became a demon. Now, even though while being a demon, his devotion to the Lord was still there. His bhakti to the Lord was still there, so much so that when Indra was trying to kill him, and at one point, Indra's weapon fell off. So Vitrasura told him, he said, look, pick up your weapon. Why? Because this weapon has been sent by Lord Narayana himself. So therefore, you are supposed to be victorious over your enemy. So pick up your weapon while you're being discouraged. So then, of course, Indra, he was kind of ashamed, but he picked up the weapon and eventually he killed Vitrasura. And because Vitrasura was actually a great devotee, even though being a demoniac body, because of that killing of Vitrasura, Indra had to suffer so much. He had to suffer like anything. So, when we reach this count of Bhagavatam, we can have this, this understanding. So this is there. The demons are there, and the demons are also there. And also we find sometimes that many demons which are killed in here in Vrindavan, many of them attained liberation. So many of them. Agasura, Aristasura, so many demons who were killed by the Lord, they all immediately attained liberation. Even Putana, not only did she got liberation after being killed by Lord Krishna, she also became one of the nurses of the Lord. She became one of the nurses in the Golok Vrindavan. She got the topmost benediction. So sometimes they will pray, they will say that, oh, how fortunate are these demons? Why? Because they were able to be touched by the Lord himself. They were able to be touched by him. How fortunate are they? Whereas we don't have such fortune of being touched by the Lord. The case of Kaliya serpent, even though he tried to attack Krishna, but Krishna was dancing on his head. Krishna dancing on his head, and the footprints on his leg, on his foot, his footprint was clearly visible on his head. So Krishna's footprint was marked on the head of Kaliya. It's not a great fortune that he has. So this way and of course we cannot pray to become demons, because if we try to become demons so that Krishna can come and kill us and then we get liberation, we may not be successful, because those demons, they are very, very powerful demons. And those demons, they've been there for a long period of time, not just one month. And because the Lord is the only one who can actually fight with the Lord, so therefore they become, being the demons, they become that. So we cannot really try to be demons, but we have to understand that there's some demons who actually always Krishna conscious. Kamsa was always Krishna conscious. Of course, in a negative way, but he was always Krishna conscious. Whatever he's thinking, he's saying, everything, any impression, it just reminds him of Krishna. Any impression that Sakansa say simply reminds him of Krishna. So it was actually 24 hours, Krishna conscious 24 hours, always Krishna conscious. But however, in a negative way. We should not try to be Krishna conscious, follow the footsteps of Kamsa. We should do so, follow the footsteps of the great devotees, great authorities. But the demigods, the sages sometimes, they do pray that, oh, how fortunate are these demons? How fortunate are they? Because they were able to be touched by the Lord himself, and immediately they are touched, they get liberation immediately. So this is some of the oddity that we find in the Puranic narrations. So this fighting between the demons and the demigods is going on. Because as we heard before in the previous classes, that the demigods, the demons, they felt very cheated because Moini came and then she gave the nectar to the demigods, and then she bypassed the demons. So the demons, they became very, very angry, and they want to fight to the end. But even though they want to fight with the demigods, but because the demigod, they have an upper hand, they've been given the nectar, which can render them basically deathless. So the demons, they can't do much. And that's why the demons, they are being exterminated in this, they are being defeated in this battle, the demons. And this will go on. The battle will continue in the next chapter until Lord Brahma will come and stop the demigods from their relentless killing of the demons. So I am going to stop here. And then we can, if there's some question or comments about this point, the narration of the demons and the demigods, like that.
I didn't understand why the demons are necessary.
The demons are necessary. First of all, as I mentioned earlier, the living entities, they always have demoniac tendency. The tendency to be averse to God, to Krishna, to the Lord is always there in the living entity to be averse. Even though somebody may be very, very pious, it's still, the aversion to God is still there. Because even when somebody is coming to the house of God, they want to worship God, but they want to worship God so that God can become their servant, so that they can say, okay, my Lord, give me everything, give my need. No one is actually, hardly you find someone who is coming to want to offer everything to God, to Krishna. Everybody wants something from God. So those pious souls, they want something from God, that God give me this, God give me that. So the demoniac tendency is just like an elevation of that. The tendency to be wanting to be the controller. So that tendency, that demoniac thing. So that's always there. And because this material world is a place of duality, so the demoniac nature have to be there until one comes to this pure stage. So because the demigods, they've always been frustrated because the demons, they're always fighting them all the time. Even though the demigods, they're supposed to be devotees of the Lord, they are common minister devotees. They are mixed with fruitive desire. So in order to check that, so the Lord again send the demons, allow the demons to attack them from time to time, just so that they can come to their senses that this material world is a nasty place anyway. Why trying to be here? This material is a nasty place. Because if you try to analyze the material world, we will not find anything good in it. We will not find nothing good in the material world if you try to analyze it. So therefore, the demons are there to frustrate everyone, to frustrate that yes, you should not be here in the first place. So therefore, the demons are there to attack you. Now, in this age, now all of us, we also overcome with demoniac tendencies, pride, arrogance, all these things which are within us. So therefore, as explained by Srila Bhakti-yoga Thakur, so Krishna came and he killed so many demons, and the killing of the demons is an eradication of our anarthas, because we have so many anarthas, and each of these anarthas represent particular demons, and Krishna comes to kill that demoniac propensity. Like Agasura, some of them represent pride, some of them represent lust, all these different demons that Krishna killed. So Krishna, by killing the demons, those demons, so Krishna is killing those demoniac tendency within us. So if you find ourselves being overcome with pride, then we take shelter of Krishna to come and kill that demonic propensity in the form of the killing of Agasura. So which by meditating on that pastimes, then we can try to overcome some of the anarthas that we have. So which means that, figuratively, so Krishna killed all these different demons, but it's actually a way to kill our various anarthas. And our anarthas are different demoniac propensity, which is keeping us from being, successful in spiritual life, keeping us from being Krishna conscious. So that's the whole thing. So it's required. The Lord put them there. The demons are created, they are created by the Lord himself. Okay. Is that, do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? This has been explained by the acharyas themselves. Like, this way. That's why many times you find the prayers of even Narada Muni, they will pray that, oh, our dear Lord, these demons, they are very fortunate. They are being fortunate because they are able to be killed by you personally. And they are able to be touched by you, but we don't have such fortune. You see. So, any other points, comments? So, thank you very much. It's nice. Hopefully, we pray to Krishna to kill all our demoniac tendency, especially myself. Grant Rashmi Bhagavata ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gopi Manande.